It's a big
I tell you what, Mr. B, I still get chills watching that intro. Talk about a masterful concatenating of goals. But you know, though, there is one that probably is more to our era than some of the modern fans. And that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the babyface assassin, 1999, Champions League against Bayern Munich. Get in there!
You know, it's strange that nobody thought about putting that one in. How you doing, Rebel, man? How you doing, man? Thursday, the week's flying past. How we doing? You good?
Absolutely. I tell you what, today went against me a bit because I ended up looking at this project that I'm doing at work, and I was like, shit, that deadline's tomorrow. And I'm like a bear, mad yoke, whopping about the place. And then I said, you know what now, Kev? Chill. Go down, get a takeaway. Chicken chips, into the gob, and away we went. And I do want to welcome all our wonderful viewers in both the Twitterverse, or Xverse as it's called now, and on YouTube. We are on the road to 4K. We are hoping to try and get there before the start of the season. And if we do, we have been sanctioned by the learned Solo 7, Mr. Good Evening himself, to give away a Manchester United jersey. So please do encourage your friends, hit that subscribe button, give the live a cheeky little like, because these things are very much free to do, but it really, really does help the channel grow. So we do appreciate it. But Mr. B, welcome. It's Thursday, and another week is nearly over, and we're edging ever closer to that pre-season tour. And we've had a lot of rumblings. And, you know, before we get into the main business, I was kind of listening to a guy on a podcast the last day. And the way that the journalists talk about Manchester United Football Club, when they're talking about exploring a deal for a possible talk with a view to looking at maybe approaching the conversation around the executive of the transfer committee to see if it is feasible to do exploratory talks about what the terms of a deal sheet would be, in conjunction with maybe monitoring a player to see if he might be amenable to joining Manchester United Football Club. And we seem to have that language on rinse and repeat about every goddamn player that we are being linked to it. And the other one that grates my bleeding gears is when we're trying to move on a player that clearly has no future at Manchester United Football Club, that doesn't want to be at Manchester United Football Club, do we sell them? We try to, but then we get Manchester United is exploring the possibility of lowering cast-off number 1 to Joe Bloggs FC, and you're kind of going, sorry, really? Why are we lowering these men out? But does these journalists, and it's particularly a certain well-successful news station, grind you with the way that they speak about transfers?
Everything we do seems to be public knowledge level. I think that's more what bothers me. You know, this Ibrahimo deal, we've been excited about this for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks to say. But like anything with United, because it drags on, when they finally do sign, you kind of lose that whole excitement, that whole emotion. Yeah, you still feel happy because we've signed the player, but you know, if things were done within a week, everything always seems to be dragged out. I mean, the Mbemo deal, obviously, you know, we'll talk about that in a bit, but everything we do just seems to be so slow. I understand, you know, transfers aren't done in a week, but I just wish we would speed things up, Rebel. You know, the fact that the so-called stations seem to be, we as YouTube channels seem to be getting the information 24, 48 hours before they do. So when they do post it, you know, and I'm getting all my friends saying, "Oh, you're interested?" We've already covered it on the show already, so it's strange. But look, it's slow. That's what United do, and everything we do always seems to be public knowledge. But that's what we live for. That's what we wait for. In it, every hour we're on our Twitter feed or our news apps, looking for something. So look, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Nothing's gonna change.
Hang on, I do have from my sources some breaking news. Doris, the tea lady, who has been brewing the tea for the Manchester United coaching staff for the last 15 years, has her wages reduced from £4.50 per hour to a measly £2. Get into the news here today from Manchester United Football Club.
That's how slow it's been.
But Mr. B, do you want to say hello before we start with Rashford and then into the transfer news?
Yeah, let me say a couple of howdies. Let's have a look and see who's in the house. Solo is saying big up everyone. We got evening from Chat Sports. Danny B's in the house. Patrick Pello's in the house. Oh, where did we go? You've gone. How you doing? Stephanie, as always, I hope you're doing well. Andrew, some vids. Matty. Who else is in there? Bart. Hope you're doing well, man. I'm just going through these. We'll start the conversations. This is just to be polite, so I am getting your names up. I'm actually not looking at the messages. I see a lot of howdies and hows. Tyrone, how you doing, man? And let's see if there's anybody else. I'm Titanium. Where's my manners? I forgot about you. Yo, Tottenham until we die. We got for the $2 donation, my friend. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well, man. Are we good to go? Right.
Let's get serious, I suppose.
Yeah, this is the most serious comment we've had so far. Is Daisy supply their own tea bags as well.
And Andrew saying it's fake news. She was actually on 520. But we've had some speculation around Marcus Rashford. I am Titanium. Dermot is the person that is behind the account, the Spurs Tottenham on Hotspur Till We Die account. He runs his own YouTube channel for the Spurs side of the football family. So that's who Dermot is. But we've had some speculation around Marcus Rashford. There was talk about that he only wanted Barcelona. There was talk that Newcastle United yesterday were coming in for him. But if you're to listen to some people that are closer to Marcus than us, that have connections with his immediate family, they're saying this is all media hyperbole and that they're trying to discredit him and trying to get a quick laugh out of him in the media. But here's today's news. Now, what's interesting about this is last week, the media were reporting that Ruben Amorim does not want Garnacho, Anthony, Rashford or Sancho on his pre-season tour. But today, the Daily Star come out that Marcus Rashford wants to miss out on United's tour of America in favour of finding himself a new club. He is desperate to avoid going as he has not secured an exit from Old Trafford. So I suppose taking into account what we've heard before about alleged messages from Ruben to the board about these players, is this a credible, tenable argument that he was going to tell the club that he does not want to go on tour?
Yeah, I mean, he knows he's going. He knows he wants to leave. The club know he wants to leave. All the fans know he wants to leave. There wouldn't be any reason for him to stay. The biggest issue, obviously, that we've got with Rashford is his wages, and whether or not he wants to take a cut. Obviously, his dream move is Barcelona, but that's been scuppered. It seems by Romano that Nico Williams has had all things sorted out. It's a club-to-club deal now. So once they finalise whatever fee that is, that position's now taken. So Rafa's going to have to think about something else. Yes, he wanted a pay cut, but obviously it either wasn't enough for Barcelona's liking or they preferred Nico Williams. So Is he going to stay in the Prem? Who knows? You know, at the end of the day, he has to decide what he wants to do. The fact that Tuchel picked him for the England squad on the first outing probably shows Rashford that he does need to be playing for somebody regularly. Now, I don't believe it's going to be Villa. We'll talk about their financial woes in a second anyway. But I don't think it's going to be Villa now. Obviously, you said Newcastle came in and came back out again as quick as their name was mentioned with Rashford's. Nobody wants to go to Newcastle. Let's be honest. Everybody's turning down Newcastle. Rightly or wrongly, whatever the reason is, nobody seems to want to go to the Toon. So, again, that's another option out the way. I mean, if he takes a pay cut, then fine. But even him taking a pay cut, his wages are ridiculous. So the club are probably going to have to decide what they want to do. Obviously, he knows he doesn't want to come back. And the club know he wasn't, as I said at the beginning of it. So hopefully it doesn't get too messy and it's not too prolonged. And whatever he decides to do, he does, and we can get on with it.
Absolutely. Now, would it be fair to say that maybe a reuniting with Eric Ten Hag might be in his best interest? It gets him out of the Premier League. It gets him away from the English media with Eric Ten Hag.
He ain't picking him. He ain't picking, no. He ain't going to do that to himself again. No. I don't see that one, Rebel.
Stay with me on the idea of getting out of England and the circus that is the English media. Would moving to a foreign league potentially help to refocus Marcus on his football, and to the point that he'd only have to deal with the English media if and when Thomas Tuchel pulled him into the England squad? Could that be a beneficial kind of transaction for Marcus just to get away from England altogether?
It could be, but who can afford him? That's the issue. You say that Paris could afford him, but they've got Barcola. What are they going to do with Marcus Rashford? They're just on the Champions League, and their form at the moment, everybody's talking about them. They're looking really good in the World Club Cup. So I think his options are limited. But again, those are decisions that him and his agent brother are going to have to decide.
Absolutely. I did see in the comments there was a lot of time to say goodbye, Marcus, and so long, Marcus, and arrivederci, Marcus. Do you think that there's an element of pettiness in our fan base, and that when we do get our backs up on a certain player, that we come across as a bit brash at times?
What, us as fans?
As fans, yeah.
Yeah, we do, but come on, it doesn't take much to bring us back on side. Maguire had 2 years of abuse. Let's be honest, and you know he's come back. He's shown his mental strength. Coming back for it. Yeah, we understand his levels are always going to be his levels, but Marcus on a good day is virgin and world class. Let's not get it twisted, but those days don't happen enough, and they're not going to be happening in a United shirt again. I don't hate him. There's players who have left the club who I've hated. I'm never going to hate Marcus, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Is it going to burn? I'd rather he went abroad. You know, can you imagine him scoring at the Stratford end? Come on, man. It's you know, it's yeah, some things burn. Some things would burn, and that would burn. So yeah, I hope he does. Remember, I hope he goes abroad. But you look at everybody else is being linked with moves. Sancho, Napoli, Garnacho, Napoli. They're willing to take two of our wingers, but they won't. You don't hear Rashford's name being linked with Napoli. So maybe, you know, the fact that he wanted Barcelona, it was put out there and it's public knowledge. Let's hope he has an option B and an option C or an option D, because I think those are where he's going to end up going.
Very true. I do see that Bat mentions that nobody's going to take on his gargantuan wage packet. Tyrone Williams saying by that Arsenal, they haven't gone for Rashford. We also did have Tottenham Hotspur till we die. Dermot mentioned that he'd take him at Tottenham. So I would be curious how many Tottenham fans are aligned with Dermot's thinking in that front. If there is any other ones that happen to be drifting through, let us know. Would you take Marcus Rashford at your football club?
Well, I mean, the thing is, Son's leaving, but I don't think Marcus. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to go to London. Maybe if Tottenham, he's on 350, man. So Tottenham ain't getting anywhere near those wages for 1, 2, and 3. So his wage demands are what are gonna scupper a lot of moves for Mr. Rashford. Here's one for Bart. Who's harder to sell, Grealish or Rashford?
Well, clearly Rashford, because they're letting Grealish go for nothing, I think.
What did you say?
I think they're letting Grealish go for nothing.
They're not gonna. They spent £100 million on him. They're not gonna let him go for free.
Here, he's another person that hasn't focused on his football, that has had many issues in the media off the pitch. Like, he's a hard sell. Who's going to give him anything for him?
Rebel, there's no way Man City are going to write off £100 million.
Yeah, well, I suppose technically speaking, we've probably done it with Sancho and Anthony.
Yeah, well, our club's a mess. Our club's a mess. Their club is well run.
Very true. There is another super chat after coming in from Dermot, and I want you to think about this while I do another bit of a shameless plug.
My
The
hope,
question is your hope for the next season.
Dermot, is that we win the league. That's my hope. The reality is, I would like us to be higher than 10th, for respectability, and 8th. Anything from 8th onwards, we have to be looking at. I'm realistic. I will get gassed when we beat Arsenal after the first game of the season, but once reality bites against Fulham and Chelsea and Man City and Liverpool, I'm sure we got Liverpool in there somewhere there as well. Then maybe it'll hit a little bit differently. But my hopes are that we win the league. The reality is anything above 10th, and I would like to think that we would be anything above 8th would be I'll be not happy with, but I will accept.
Absolutely. I would love, at this point, just kind of to get our business done, have a good pre-season, and look at attacking the Europa League spot for next season, because I think that would be good progress. If we're in and around that particular area of the table coming this season, that's good enough for me next year. Don't get Dermot started on Son. He's literally like the way Sola used to be with Fred with him, so there's no point in going at him with that front. But
guys, just a question: is there anybody else who would take Grealish? Andrew said that he would take Grealish at United.
that would be an ecumenical matter that I would probably get banned for talking about.
Okay then. Well, can I have a football opinion side of it without going too deep?
I think that given Manchester United's history with problematic players and baggage and drama, if we're looking to clear that element from our squad, why would we introduce that back into it with Grealish? Because I think you're inviting the chance of that. It was the same with Rabiot when we were being linked to them. And it's actually the same with Ter Stegen, who's the problematic goalkeeper that now Barcelona are trying to move on. He apparently has a torrid time in the Spanish media with his extracurriculars. So that would be an absolutely no for me.
With these extracurriculars, yeah. I like the wording, Ruffle. I like the wording.
But I do want to say we are on the road to 4K subscribers. There's 51 wonderful people over there in the Twitter/Xverse watching us. So if you wouldn't mind, come over, find us on the Man United Agenda YouTube. Give us a little like on the video. Give us a little subscribe. And who knows, maybe you will be walking away with a Man United jersey at the start of the season if we can hit that goal. But I do want to press on to some transfer rumours. And this is where you in the chat are going to have a big, big say on matters. Don't be afraid to comment on Twitter as well, because we do get that through our chat feed as well. It is rumoured that Mendes has not only got one new client, but two. One of the rumours was poo-pooed later on today, and that was that he was going to be involved in the Gyökeres deal, but also that he is the new agent for one Emi Martinez of Aston Villa Football Club. Now, there's no surprise that Manchester United are sounding out possible options in the goalkeeping front. Now, our goalkeeping legend aficionado, Mr. COLM, isn't here today to speak on it, but Emi Martinez is viewed as one of the options, along with Costa from Portugal, who cost an arm and a leg, and there was one other new face linked today, which eludes me in terms of who it was. But I have noticed since the Emi Martinez chatter has started, especially on the Twitterverse, that a lot of the fan bases are not very impressed. And here's just a sample of what some of the reactions on the Twitterverse is. He's average with his feet. He's prone to rash decisions. He's error prone. He's too old. He's going to be 33 next birthday. His wages are too high. And the rumoured transfer fee of 40 million is absolutely ludicrous. Now, we have had older keepers join us before, one Edwin van der Sar, but that was a completely different situation. Do you find yourself aligned with the Twitterverse in the views of Mr. Emi Martinez, Mr. B?
I will take him. I will take him. I think his shithousery is legendary. I think he gets in opposition players' heads. I have no idea what he would be like as a teammate. He's a World Cup winner. And he wouldn't be coming to us. I don't think he would be coming to us as a I think he would not say he has a point to prove, but I don't think he would be coming to us for the payday. 40 million, there's absolutely no way on Golden Tree Earth Man United paying 40 million for Emi Martinez. But 20, 25, Villa are going to struggle this season, so they're going to have to sell somebody. I mean, I'll be honest, I would be going there and I'll be going to take Onana. That's what I'd be good. That's what I'd be testing their resolve with. At the end of the day, they need money. You know, the Ollie Watkins deal, obviously, with Arsenal. There's no way Arsenal are going to make a bid if they didn't think that Ollie Watkins was available to go. They wouldn't have made themselves look that stupid. So I would maybe test the resolve with somebody else other than maybe Martinez. 40 million's too much, Rebel. Far too much. Him being average with his feet, I don't have a problem with, you know, just get the ball out of the box. Does he make saves? Would he make more saves than Onana? Yeah, I would. Even I would make more saves than Onana. But at the same time, it's the price. You know, 33. I don't think 33 is too old for a goalkeeper. I haven't watched him enough to see if he's actually been in decline at Villa, or how much goals he's actually cost them. That may be something that I'll look into over the weekend, but I don't really have a problem with him as a goalie. The fact that we'll be linked with a goalie is more that I'm happy with. But me personally, I would test them. I'll be asking them about Onana.
Very interesting, Mr. B. Yeah. There was another goalkeeper that was mentioned, and I just looked it up, and it's actually Lucas Chevalier. I've never heard of the gentleman, never watched him before, but I think that's one maybe to put to COLM.
Is that the one who took? Is that the one who takes the free kicks? Oh God, yeah, Stephanie. Only United would consider signing Emi Martinez with a free game ban looming. Yeah, he got sent off in the last game. He could have just let -9 miss the target, because he would have done, but decided to foul him. Yeah, I mean that's another reason to knock that one on the head. You know, what did they then do? Did they then get him in to get rid of to get Onana peed off so that he just says, I'll forget it anyway? No, I'm not sure. We deserve better. How you doing, big man? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Let's have a look and see what they say. Martinez coming off a terrible second half of last season. I'll take him for 15 million, no more. Um, Stephanie, 15 million tops. Um, talking about Fabian Barthez. Yeah, somebody said they get that Barthez vibes. I've got one here. Chat Sport. He'd take Watkins. I know I do moan about older players, us not signing, but I would take Watkins. I don't think he would come, but I would take Watkins from Villa. Didn't even think about what. Yeah, I would take Watkins from Villa. So that's two. Go in for Emi Martinez, and that's the smoke screen. You ask about the other two, and see if they interest me. Okay, Watkins wouldn't come, but Anana might.
Yeah, Watkins is an interesting one. Obviously, he's Prem proven, and obviously we know that he has a goal scoring track record in Premier League. But as you said, if we had probably beaten Tottenham in the final of the Europa League, maybe an Ollie Watkins would have been a possibility with Champions League football. But I think, as you said, we probably don't have too much of a chance of attracting him today. But we will talk further about the goalkeeping situation once COLM is back. But there has been a lot of comments about.
Matty said Chevalier plays for Leo. There you go, the Leo goalkeeper. There you go.
Yeah.
See, they're knowledgeable in the house, man. You'll take the Leo left winger. Who's the Leo left winger?
Here's one for you from COLM himself.
If we're going to do Martinez, whoever, where's that message? I can't read it on that screen. Where is it on there?
If we're going to do Martinez or whatever, we would look at Villa. It needs to be done in the next 2 weeks before the financial year changes, so they can put the gain on the Premier League of this current year. So yeah, I think what COLM is saying is that Villa need to pump it across.
So quick.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. I mean, there's no smoke without fire. The only thing is Mendes getting involved with him. He's only going in there for the money. He's not really bothered about I'm not saying he's not bothered about the players' welfare, but for him to be jumping on it now is probably a sign that he wants to make money from the club, and the club seem to like dealing with him. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But if they make the goalie change, it's beautiful, man. Mr. Poultis, I hope you're doing well, man. I'm good. I am good. Sorry, Rebel.
No worries. Just going to say that Andrew has segued us beautifully into the next topic, and that is Mr. Polinia. So, obviously, he's only joined Bayern Munich last summer for 48 million from Fulham. But Manchester United allegedly...
It's been there too.
Is it two?
Yeah, 2002. 2002 he went there. 2022.
Yeah. Well, they're saying he's only on the books for less than 12 months, so...
is it?
Yeah. So, according to some of the great unwashed media, Manchester United are looking at exploratory talks with an initial loan deal with Bayern Munich with a view to maybe doing an option to buy. Now, as we know, Paulinho is a right wind-up merchant. He likes to give a funding to opposition players around the pitch, and he's got a nasty bite about him that would endear him to the Old Trafford faithful. But looking at our history with transfers from Bayern Munich, Bastian Schweinsteiger, the loan for was an Amrabat. I can't help but feel, well, now obviously De Ligt and Mazraoui this season have come from them. Are we relying too much on players that Bayern Munich aren't really interested in to supplement Manchester United squad?
Rebel, do you know what? You see the last part of that question I missed? I was just getting a message up. Just the last bit of it. Sorry. The punchline. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just say, are we getting too fond of shopping in the Bayern Munich sweet shop for players that they don't see as a priority for their own squad?
No, I don't have a problem with that. Bayern are a high class football team. Um, as long as they've done the homework. I mean, we got Schweinsteiger and he was done. I mean, that's the one they knew was finished. Palini has been there a year, 2 years. Um, I have no problem with if that's the deal that they're looking to do. I mean, I'm just glad that we're starting to look for central midfielders. Everything's been up top. Obviously, those are deals that we want to get done, but we need to start focusing on the midfield because, like I said, I've been saying that's going to be our biggest issue next season. So if Paulinho's the one that can be done, especially on a loan, I mean, we were linked with him before he went over to Bayern anyway from Fulham. They spent 48 million. Okay, we're not spending anywhere near that on him. But again, that's going to be down to what's the manager's name now? Company, whether or not he wants to keep him. I mean, look, if he's not going to get first choice football, maybe that's something for him to think about. Look, we've obviously still got the pull as a club. That might be something that could work. Would it be a loan with an obligation to buy? Would it just be a straight out loan with an option to buy? It would. I think he would come. I wouldn't see it being a problem. Come covering his wages definitely wouldn't be a problem for us. He's obviously got the Premier League experience, and maybe he'll have a point to prove to Bayern on his side. So I would have no problem going in for Paulinho. I mean, even if it was a fee, if it was somebody we were linked with, I wouldn't have a problem. Certain positions you need experience. 29, is that too old? I don't think so. Not for central midfield. But yeah, I would, if that's something that could be done, I wouldn't have a problem doing it. But then maybe that's just me being midfield ignorant. I keep telling you I don't watch much other football than Man United, so maybe I'm being a bit ignorant. There's obviously are other players out there, but if they talk about loans, then that's right up Man United street.
Absolutely. Now, I am seeing a lot of the chat are warm to the idea of a loan with no obligation to buy. But the question from Matty is, why are we taking stopgaps?
I understand. Yeah, I get that as well, Matty. But what positions are? We would agree that the front three were needed changing. It looks like that's a deal that's going to be done. How much money is going to be left? Maybe it's it would be nice to have him plus him coming in alone and somebody else being bought in midfield. I mean, we always say until they can start to sell players, for reasonable money, we're never going to get the figures that we ask or we're hoping for as supporters and fans. Rashford 40 million. Rashford's going to go on a loan again. So guess what? That money's gone. Anthony 25. We probably will get that for Anthony. Sancho, they probably just want to get off the books. So there has to be a sacrifice. I'm saying a sacrifice. Garnacho, everything's going to be quiet on the Garnacho front now again. So they need to start getting the loan market moving, on the sale market moving for us to be able to move. Things are domino effect in it. So
absolutely, Mr. B. And I suppose we are edging ever closer to that flight to pre-season. I think our first pre-season game is in Scandinavia, if I'm not mistaken, before we do go across the water to United States of America. But there was a mention of Mbuemo, and that is our final bit of conversation for tonight. It is very much a light update before we go to the comments for our final run-through. But Duncan Castles has reported that Manchester United today are moving to wrap up the Mbuemo deal and have offered a deal worth in the region of an excess of £60 million. But I suppose, like the Cunha deal, until he's inside holding up the shirt, it's very hard to kind of see and gauge just how credible these deal submissions are, because we have had them poo-pooed by other journalists before that deal, the second bid had not gone in when other journalists were claiming it had.
Sorry, Rebel. say, okay, you know what? I can't multitask. I've either got to listen to you or not do the messages. So I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to forget about the messages. Guys in the chat, you know how it is. Right, Rebel, just the last bit.
Yeah, I'm just saying that in the past we've seen journalists claim that the second bid went in and had it discredited by other journalists later on, and until we kind of get the bigger journalists reporting it, it's probably you have to take it with a pinch of salt, don't you?
Yeah, it's a big pinch though. We know they're close. We know they're close. We're just waiting for the here we goes on this one. I'm not sure what the hold up is. We're never gonna know what the hold up is. But as I said, because our business is known so early, everything just seems to be taking long. However long this one takes, just get it done. These two are going to be game changers for us, and then we work on the other position and lose our mind if we don't get the one that we want. But I don't see anybody really dismissing the fact that these two are coming in. I think this one's done. There's been a lot of smoke about this, and can you imagine if this deal didn't get done? The embarrassment. No, it's done. It's done.
Well, we did hear that apparently Tottenham have decided that there's no point in wading into the waters that we're too far down the line. But let's just assume we get those done. We have been saying about the strikers, and obviously that would be the final part of this attacking rebuild. We know that the deal with Palindrome, aka Ekatike, is that he will not be part of consideration until this €100 million malarkey is all over with. I will come back to an interesting text that I just got shortly, but the issue that I see is that would mean Bruno Fernandes goes back into one of the central midfield too. And we know that causes issues. So are we going to be exposing that back system that Ruben Amorim likes to play, considering that to get Bruno into the team then, we would have to push him deeper?
Bruno's going to be a problem. Bruno's going to be a problem for the team next season. I got used to the fact that we were selling him and we were going to get two proper central midfielders in there. Look, maybe he'll go at the end of next season. Maybe Amorim will realise that he shouldn't be playing in there. I mean, look, the season's long. Maybe they'll get the two central midfielders. That's like this. I'm in living in dream world. We'll get one and it'll be Bruno, and we're going to struggle. Bruno doesn't get injured, so he's never going to be a replacement. Hopefully, he will learn that he just can't keep spamming the ball and giving the ball away. We need to become more of a possession-based team, especially for what Amorim wants to play. We need possession-based players. So hopefully that's the way he's going to be going. Bruno doesn't give the ball away when he's playing for Portugal. Well, he does, but not 30 times a game. So, hopefully he'll eliminate that out of his game. But yeah, look, we'll see. We'll see, Rebel. That we've still got so much more time, so much more smoke, so much more excitement, so much more disappointment, and the season as it wouldn't even have started it. This would just be the transfer window. So yeah, they've got a lot of things to sort out.
Yeah, Mr. Potus kind of does seem to be of the same opinion that Bruno cannot play as a CDM. There is 90 in the chat. We do appreciate all the love and support. 78 of you over on Twitter. Please do come and see us over here on the Man United Agenda YouTube. Give us a quick like and subscribe. We are on the road to 4K. There is a Man United jersey up for grabs if we reach it before the start of the season. And a big hello to Remy. How are you doing? You join us as we're about to wrap up the show. But Mr. B, any final thoughts for you before we embark on yet another weekend?
Yes, first things first, I say, Rami, welcome to the madness. You joined late, but that's all right. We do sign Villa players, yeah. And we would take Onana and Watkins and probably leave Emi Martinez where he was. Yeah, weekend is fast approaching. Um, I've got my football awards night tomorrow, so that's gonna be a beautifully messy night and a wonderfully late morning. For me, I've got my son's awards night on the Saturday, so that's gonna be strictly fruit juice and water. And welcome back, welcome back, Mr. Potus, brother. I hope you, as I said, I hope you're doing well, man. Um, and Sunday, I should be a day of rest for me. I know you've got your drive down to see the big man tomorrow, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Back down to the land of rain and mountains, the beautiful kingdom of Kerry. But I'm going to wind you up with this last comment, and I think it's a fitting way to close the show. What about the return of the Mac from Napoli?
Yeah, if you want me to slap, see this? It can get to Kerry pretty quickly, you know me. It can get to Kerry pretty quickly. Never, ever. I nearly threw a party when he left. I'm glad he's gone out there and he's proved um what a good player he is in a different league. He played for us, and I don't care what he did over there. It's a different team, you know. Yeah, he did score goals for us. Yay! I did cheer some of them. Yay! But I was glad when he left. Yay!
And on that bombshell, it was a great week for the Man United agenda. We had our big rebrand in terms of our logo and our video for the opening and closing. Big up to Portis. Trelino will be the rival town. Now, we don't get on with Tralee people now until it all down. Yeah, we have to come to blows here now, Peyton Bigala. But it was an absolutely monumentous week for the Man United agenda. We welcome back Andy Tate. And stay tuned because you never know who might turn up in the next week or two. But that is it from us. It has been your Thursday Man United agenda. A very good evening to you and Lacanosh.